I'm just so angry today, David. I'm just seeing red everywhere I go.
Part of me wants to remind you that we're wearing Emma's red luminol vision glasses and are spraying luminol, but part of me doesn't want to disappoint you, so let's just go with that.
We're the Bittersweet Gamer.
Now for the longest investigation ever, the continuation sequel. I'm the Opinionator.
I'm We Squared.
Yeah, congratulations, Billy. There's blood on the blood.
They're fine then, Mr. Man.
Don't you know what you're supposed to do with the luminol? That spray it everywhere in this room. It just might be hard to figure out how to do that with the mouse.
Whee!
So you mean when you did this before, did you like move it around and try to like target specific places? You didn't just go like, Oria!
Yeah?
You.
I did try and target specific places.
You're weird.
You're weird. I'm not weird.
You think that your purpose in life
Keep talking. I can spray while you talk.
the place that you need to spray. But I'm here to tell you that your purpose in life is to spray this whole room full of luminol.
I can't possibly have that much in my bottle.
It's not like that limited amount of powder where you have to blow it back in the bottle.
This is a huge blood stain. Something big must have happened here.
We know that. We know the spring was red when Maya and Enmi got there for the rite. Perhaps the High Priest's blood flowed in there from under the Warbod statue because I don't... Oh, pizza. I'm allergic to blood. And then the sneeze goes back up my nose.
That's because you leaned away from the blood, Your Highness. There was definitely a lot of blood here.
This is so confusing.
But it's impossible to say much else at this point. I'm just a novice. I'll just take a picture for now.
You can check over by the guns. Although I do like how one of your targeted areas was the pitchfork and the crossbow wagon.
All right. Luminol reactions don't show up in photos. I'll just have to take some notes.
Well, RAYFA'S there to back up your notes.
I'll just scribble on the picture right here.
With a red Sharpie.
That should do it. I didn't notice before, but the bloodstain looks like it was smeared away in one place. Is it because the Warbod revolving door passed over it?
That makes sense.
Well, guess I don't gotta spray anymore, much to Damon's chagrin.
But we hadn't sprayed the steel samurai is what I was about to say. We hadn't sprayed the plumed Punisher stuff. We hadn't sprayed the microphone or the guns.
Well, I think that covers about everything here.
Maybe I have a lot in common with Emma.
Maybe.
Speaking of which, Mr. Wright, you shouldn't have come in here before the police.
Sorry, but I was in a hurry. I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to. I mean, except spray for blood because you weren't here.
Well, come to think of it, I can smell the delicious scent of luminol in the air.
Emma?
Oh, but you only hit a few places. You didn't spray this whole room, Mr. Wright.
Her benevolence can attest to that. Plus, if I did that, they'd probably accuse it of me spreading my demonic stench or something everywhere.
It is your fault for being so slow. I expect the police to work faster and more efficiently. Is this how they do things in your country?
Well, kind of.
Sorry. Well, barbed head, have you not already seen enough?
I guess it's about time I got back to the temple and go over everything I've learned.
Hey, is that a crossbow mounted on a wagon, barbed head?
I know, it's awesome, isn't it? Man, I can't wait for this trial to start so that her benevolence can start the Divination Seance where we see that Zealot is just staring at the ground the entire time and we glean nothing useful from it. Or his eyes will be closed because he's in prayer and we won't learn anything.
That would be quite fascinating. Also, I love how the scope of this case has gotten, like, really huge. This is probably the most ballooning scope of any trial that I can think of. Though
Don't look at me, I barely remember the games I've played.
Though I guess Investigations 2 might have had something like that.
I haven't played Investigations 2 yet.
Well, Investigations 2 is arguably the best of the series. As I understand it, people tend to like either Trials and Tribulations, Investigations 2, or this the most. And, I mean, for me, it's between Trials and Tribulations and Investigations 2, so... Welcome back, Mr. Wright. How'd it go? Are you done reminiscing about past games?
Unfortunately, I didn't find anything conclusive, neither at the investigation site or in reminiscing about past games.
Oh, that's too bad. No way. I do not understand, Bobbed Head.
That's a common trend with you today, isn't it? What don't you understand?
Why you did not commit any misdeeds during your investigation.
I know! It's such a shocker, isn't it?
Especially when I wasn't in the room with you.
It's almost like everything you've been told about lawyers is a frickin' lie!
Well, maybe not everything. I mean, all it takes is a few really bad ones.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't trust anything Inga says.
After all, lawyers ply their trade primarily through illicit means and methods.
What? Who told you? I know who told you that.
I mean, better call Saul. My mother. Are you saying she was wrong?
Oh, I kind of thought it would have been your father, though he probably said it too.
No, that cannot be. You must have committed some sort of misdeed right under my nose.
If that were so, she wasted her whole day following me around.
No, really? You're kidding. What? What is it?
The whole thing?
I can't believe it. The entire thing? That can't be possible. Prosecutor Sadmadi has need of me.
What's going on?
He has to coordinate some illicit misdeeds. I must go perform a divination seance for Praise-a-Lot. Though I still say it, Zealot! It is our custom for the prosecution to review its contents before a trial begins.
Why can't it be both?
No, I mean, I suppose it is both. Thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah.
We always appreciate somebody pointing out our errors, and then when they're not errors, we'll fight to the death.
I see.
The third time will be the charm. My insights will finally bring you to your knees tomorrow. Maybe I shouldn't say this because I'm, in fact, trying to kill you when I do.
Yeah.
And I will teach that neophyte practitioner a lesson. Man, she can channel more spirits in her pinky than you can in your entire... I just don't have my heart in it.
Looks like the royal priestess is back with a vengeance. She's made a full recovery from when we started the investigation earlier today.
More's the pity. It really helps when she's around like this and it sees that like, we're not horrible, evil people.
I look forward to seeing you in court, your benevolence.
Where we'll beat you to death again. Huh. Your overconfidence will be your downfall. Again? You will not look so confident when I am finished with you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? Well, it wasn't your divination seance that got us convicted, honey.
I'm on my high horse. Don't knock me off.
Actually, I'm not really looking forward to seeing her tomorrow. Especially without any solid evidence.
Why don't we go over everything you know so far? That way we can spend about another 20 or 25 minutes in this episode, guys.
Thanks, Albie! That is the original reason that I came here. Acolyte Zealot was killed during the rite with Lady Kira's dagger. And Maya's fingerprints were found on it, which makes sense because she was practicing with it.
That doesn't sound very good.
I know. It's the very definition of being up a creek without a paddle. The day before his murder, Zealot enjoyed a meal with the High Priest, his wife, and Maya. I also learned about spirit channeling here in Karayan. I totally didn't know about it before.
No, he means he learned what spirit channeling in Kurayin is like, which is that it's only the queen. Maybe he shouldn't be talking about this to Albie, or let Albie know that Maya...
Well, he hasn't yet.
...is like the best spirit channeler in the world, probably. None of that sounds very helpful, but what do I know about lawyering?
Oh, but I did hear something interesting. That the rebel-hunting Lady Kira might be working for the Justice Minister.
What? Really? Our kingdom is supposed to be ruled through faith and laws. We can't allow the people to be controlled by fear and violence.
Albie, you are a credit to your kingdom.
And faith.
Yeah. Albie, that sounds like something a rebel might say.
It does.
That's not a bad thing. In this case.
But if that Lady Kira really is one of Minister Inga's subordinates, that would exonerate Miss Maya.
Yeah! Unfortunately, I have no way of proving it in court.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, I almost forgot about the secret rebel hideout we found at the Inner Sanctum.
Oh my god, that sounds really important, Mr. Wright! Maybe you should have led with that!
There was a blood stain inside. But I don't know if or how it's connected to this case, though.
Wow, a secret room at the Inner Sanctum? That would be a huge hit with tourists!
This kid really is an entrepreneur at heart.
I've already sold all that old evidence you gave me. What I mean is that hideout could be important to your case.
Maybe, but it's still too early to tell. Looks like I'm heading into court without any useful evidence
Oh, come
that
on.
I'm aware of.
It's always like that. We'll just have to pray something appears during tomorrow's trial. As I understand, that's normally your experience, right?
Princess RAYFA'S Divination Seance might be my only hope. Don't say it like that, Albie.
Sorry, Mr. Wright.
There could be some new information in it that might help.
The Divination Seance? But I thought it always works against the accused.
No, the insights do!
You've gotten really good at working the system here in Kurain, Mr. Wright.
When your life is on the line, you'll be surprised what you can pick up. Not always.
Right! It's like Dirk used to say. The royal priestess's insights are just another piece of evidence. Really?
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that flashback.
I never heard anyone say that before. It's hard to figure you out sometimes, sir. Then again, what am I, like 10 or 12 or something?
Divination seances work both ways before the Defense Culpability Act. It's only now that the people of Kurain find it strange.
Mr. Wright, I just wanted to say, good luck tomorrow! I'll be cheering you on!
Thanks. I can't afford to lose this next one.
Literally.
Yeah. I've collected all sorts of information, but I haven't even started connecting the dots. That's what you guys are for, right?
Well, it's not like we haven't really connected the dots, but
We don't have all the dots yet.
we're pretty sure we know who did
He
it.
keeps running away. I feel sorry.
Alley-oop! Oh, I gotta open this door here.
If I could do that, I might have a shot at pulling off a win. RAYFA'S insights will be the deciding factor. It's a huge gamble, but it's all I've got. That's my life.
Pretty much. I just want to say again, have we remarked on the fishbowl over there?
We have. And the poop flame. And the armed guards.
I'm mainly concerned about the fishbowl, though.
Maya looks exhausted, but I can't blame her.
Nick, I was thinking about it all day yesterday.
Not much else she could have done.
I never properly asked you to defend me, did I?
It doesn't matter. I'm on this case till the bitter end.
I know. That's why I wanted to officially ask you for your help.
You got it, Maya. Let's do this. If you want to channel your sister again, that would be really helpful.
They don't need her help!
I know. I just wanted to make that reference. We gotta wrap this up and get back home so you can make your dream show come true. The Steel Samurai versus the Plume Punisher, right?
You bet! And the Pink Princess will be there too, and there'll be like a love triangle, and... You look as if you did not sleep last night, Barbed Head. It is written all over your face.
I wonder why.
How can you expect to put up a respectable defense like that?
I'm all fired up and raring to go! I guess Maya's not the only one looking exhausted, though that could just be her making fun of me in general. Rayfa doesn't seem in the best spirits herself. Conflicting emotions much?
Go ahead. Feign confidence now while you are still able.
Thank you, it's my specialty.
For I will see to it that your last rites are read to you this day.
Guess it was just my imagination.
She always pulls something like that out. right at the end. Ready, Nick?
Okay, Maya, let's head on in. Heads held high before we lose them. Oh!
It just looks cool every time.
Yeah. Now then, if everyone is ready. The defense is ready, Your Majesty.
The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay.
Oh, no prayers this time, Prosecutor Sadmati?
I already offered my prayers for the latest victim during my visit to the crime scene. Being that the accused has already been found guilty of the first murder, let us hasten this trial so we may put this dead lawyer walking out of his misery.
I could not agree more. I have a class to get to.
It is so wonderful how everyone is so friendly here.
In yesterday's trial, the accused was already found guilty of murdering the high priest.
And that means Phoenix too.
And today she will be tried for the murder of his disciple, Perez-a-Lot. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement if you would. Ho!
Certainly. The accused has now slain 2 of the most devout clergymen in Kurayanism. Even the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling, would not be punishment enough.
Then, what terrible a fate awaits her?
Bagilpokon Hell, a realm of eternal agony.
Bagilpokon.
Balgilpokon.
Bagilpoken.
Balgilpo.
Baljilpoken? I don't know. Maybe there's some pun there. I can't quite
No
get
Copliglhob.
it.
What are we doing with our lives? There, she will suffer the endless punishment of Jagar by the Galoon of Pulmoten.
Are you just making this up?
Furthermore, Gulijama...
Enough! Oh, all those big scary sounding words!
In the gallery, I am terrified right now.
My blood runs cold at the mere thought that such a terrible place exists. I was going to ask for a translation, but on second thought, ignorance is bliss. It doesn't matter. I'm going to prove our innocence anyway.
You were about to say, it doesn't matter, I'm going to prove our ignorance.
Now then, please continue, minus the part about the terrible hell awaiting the accused. I might find her innocent just out of pity. Because I can apparently do whatever I want.
As you wish. The victim of this heinous crime was the high priest's disciple, Perez-a-Lot. He had been training under the high priest while living at the priest's home.
I had met him a number of times and he seemed like an earnest young man. How tragic that he met such a terrible end.
The murder occurred at the Plaza of Devotion during the Purification Rite. It was a bold crime carried out while the plaza was full of the faithful deep in prayer. The Warbod dagger was found impaled in the victim's upper back. The stabbing caused a spinal cord injury that killed him instantly.
Ah, the Warbod dagger. Lady Kira's weapon of choice. It's kind of impressive you can just snap it up like that.
Yeah, I know, it actually is pretty cool.
Is it starched or something?
We have already established that the accused's prints were on the weapon. Incredibly damning evidence in itself.
Were there not an actual, plausible reason for them to be there?
I didn't do it, like Billy said! Hold your tongue. Now, being that the accused, Maya Fey, is a serial killer...
Objection!
The prosecution believes that the death penalty is the only possible sentence.
Would the defense care to respond? Yes, sir! The accused is innocent and nothing can convince me otherwise.
If the accused really were a serial killer, then sure, but...
After all, the crime scene was packed with worshippers. How could my client possibly have committed this murder without a single witness?
The accused's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone is enough to render a verdict. As such, I see no need to debate this any further.
But... Well, once her benevolence conducts her seance, it will be clear for all to see. This appears to be the floor.
Your Majesty, might I have a word?
What's wrong, Nayuda? Did you see something in the seance you maybe don't agree with? Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmati?
It is about the Divination Seance. Yeah! She's...
Your benevolence! She's gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, she doesn't care about... She's doing this for her.
Yeah!
Stop right there, Prosecutor Sadmati. As you wish. Forgive me for overstepping my bounds.
What was that all about?
There's no way that Rayfa would just roll over and not do this.
Yeah!
Barbed head, have you made peace with your fate?
She's fighting in her own way.
Yeah. For this time, the Divination Seance will bring you to your knees.
I'm ready, and I accept your challenge. The only problem is, I have no weapons at my disposal. Our only hope now is what we can glean from the seance vision and RAYFA'S insights.
Fortunately, his career has basically been about this.
Very well. The Divination Seance, if you please, your benevolence.
Yes, let us begin. Naina!
I like that this is kind of part of the ritual.
Just love all the details.
Yeah.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Seems like every game we play has quite a lot of ritual involved, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Quite literally in this case.
Yeah, yeah.
I suppose we could say something.
I guess we could, but part of me just feels like it would be not sacrilegious, but you know?
Are you becoming a closet Koreanist, Billy?
God, no. Or at least not with their legal practices. Jeez.
But yeah,
It feels wrong.
there's only a handful of these, and
Yeah.
even though they're pretty long and there's not really anything different in them, I mean, it's the same voice clip that they use.
I feel like it would be just disrespectful, you know?
Maybe a little bit. Doesn't that mean that we're being disrespectful now, though?
Damn it, David!
I just love that loot. Like, every time you see that loot, no matter where it is, it's pretty impressive. Impressive isn't the right word, but it's like, well, kind of beautiful, really, especially when you consider the meaning it carries. And it just, typically you don't expect a game developer to develop a plausible religion with its own iconography.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing happened.
Rayfa?
I don't get it. Why wasn't there anything to see? Your benevolence! What in the world?
I was unable to evoke any sort of response. I called out the spirit's name many times, but to no avail.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe that's because it's the wrong name.
Yeah!
Without the right name, nothing's gonna happen.
You're right. She has to know his actual name, not the name he goes by.
And it's not Perez-a-lot, the zealous zealot of praying.
Uh-huh.
That's not her failure.
Correct.
Just as I thought.
Wait, what does he know that we don't?
What we said! I had sought to confirm the contents of today's Divination Seance. After all, it is customary for the prosecutor to verify it beforehand.
Come to think of it...
I must go perform a Divination Seance for Perez-a-lot. It is our custom for the prosecution to review its contents before a trial begins. Which that does make perfect sense.
Yeah!
And that is why I sought to stop her benevolence from performing it here. However, she insisted that it be done. She wished to try one more time here in the Hall of Justice.
It would appear her benevolence is tired from her manifold duties.
I am not anything of the sort. The victim spirit will not answer my call, but I know not why, even though BSG is talking about it. Why can't I listen to real people in the real world?
As a fictional character.
It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the Divination Seance.
Rayfa.
Yeah, you know, I just want to say, even though that's like a throwaway line, not really a throwaway, but that's just one of those lines. It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the Divination Seance. But talking about things like the truth and faith in Ace Attorney, that's like talking about hope and despair in Danganronpa.
Yeah.
It's an important theme in the series. So what she's saying is, I'm not here to lie. I hate that my seance or my insights have been wrong. I want to communicate the truth, for that is my sacred duty and I believe in it. I must do it. And that speaks well of what the system is supposed to do.
Yeah.
But the system doesn't work the way it is supposed to.
Correct. What are we to do without a divination seance? Just rely on evidence?
I suppose I shall have to deliver the last rites without them. Never fear, Your Majesty. I have plenty of experience in these barbaric trials. The prosecution has already taken that into account when preparing for today. I am fully capable of proving the accused's guilt with or without a divination seance.
You never fail to impress, Prosecutor Sadmati. This is bad.
Why is it always me?
The divination seance was my one and only hope. Your Majesty, her benevolence said she isn't tired. So, shouldn't we try to find out why the divination seance failed?
Thanks, Phoenix. Jeez, guys, hasn't anybody wondered about this?
How curious, Mr. Wright. Why have you suddenly taken such a keen interest in the divination seance?
I don't know. Maybe because Phoenix and Rayfa have been spending inordinate amounts of time together over the last few days?
Also, my life is on the line.
Yes, explain yourself. The divination seance is for shedding light on an accused's crimes. It is the Holy Mother's hammer of wrath that is ever poised to pound you into your grave. You big dum-dum. You should fear it, not plead for it.
I believe in my client. Plus, yesterday, someone told me something that changed my mind. The divination seance was once thought of as just another piece of evidence. If we were to correctly interpret the visions through careful analysis, then they would lead us to the truth behind what really happened.
You just have to correctly interpret it.
And the truth will show that my client, Maya Fey, is innocent.
The truth is, you don't have anything else to fall back on. Huh, Nick? Better not say
Maya?
this really loudly.
Maya? Please, you're not helping.
How dare you! The voice of a Mitama is to be feared, not utilized.
What was that?
I don't wish to talk of such embarrassing things.
I'm sorry you burped.
The voice of a Mitama is to be feared, not utilized by vile lawyers such as you. Why you gotta be afraid of the voice of a Mitama? Isn't that actually not really what...
I think she means we need to be afraid of it because we're lawyers. Well,
Their religion, Kuraianism, is not about punishing lawyers.
well, I
this
mean, look at her
just-
dad.
Since how religious do you think he really is? All I'm saying is that this is weird. This is a weird point of view, and this is the problem. You just get rid of this.
Yeah. There's
don't need-
nothing wrong with how it all works fundamentally.
Yeah. I mean, it's not what we think, but a country is allowed to be itself.
Correct.
Seances exact a heavy toll upon the royal priestess. It would be best not to burden her any further. She is only a 14-year-old girl. Or does the defense feel that it can pose no counter-arguments without the seance?
No, of course not. He saw right through me.
Well, there's no witnesses, so you better get to it.
I'll have to find a way to make the divination seance happen, or we're toast.
I mean, we still think that the actual guilty party is believe in me.
Yeah. Well, since this divination seance is not possible at this time, I see no other choice.
Don't declare a verdict!
Let us proceed with the trial without the seance, as Prosecutor Sadmati suggested.
Very good. And if Sadmati is so confident that there's nothing that we can do, then he should be able to wrap this up quickly, right?
Right?
Thank you, Your Majesty. Why, you... I will not forget this barbed head.
Rayfa, ultimately this is to your benefit too.
This is also to her credit.
Yeah!
This is like her expressing... This is Phoenix expressing faith in her.
Right!
This will not be the last you see of me, even in this trial, because I'm sure it's going to work out so that I actually do one later. You know it's going to happen.
That's true.
We'll find out that the guy's name was actually, like, Duzna Prayatol. Now then, I will now proceed by providing an outline of the case at hand.
Doppelganger or something.
Yeah!
Very well. If the lead detective would please come to the stand, we may begin.
Joy.
Poor Emma.
Well, you know, it used to be a tradition for Phoenix to beat the crud out of Gumshoe, too.
Yeah, but she's had to testify against all her friends.
That's true!
Poor Emma.
Sorry, Mr. Wright. Detective Sky, I understand how you would wish to save the accused and the defense. They are your friends, after all. But you must let them go and move on.
I can never listen to that song ever again, Damon.
I must be the only person who didn't really like it to begin with.
I don't really listen to it much now anyways, but...
But there is only one way to save them now. By giving their souls the chance to burn away the taint of their sins in the infernal flames. Oh, I can't do this. Stress eat, stress eat, stress eat, stress eat, stress eat, stress eat, stress eat.
Oh, no eating in the sacred hall of justice unless you give me some.
Miss Sky? Yes? Don't worry about me and Nick. You just do your job.
And we'll do ours.
I'm sure Nick will figure something out, eventually.
Did you have to add the eventually, Maya?
Right. Thanks, Miss Faye. How very brave for a criminal with a tainted soul.
Shut up.
Why is he so dislikable?
Prosecutor, some dummy?
Like, normally the prosecutor is, like, kind of likable, even though, you know, you're, like, constantly fighting with them.
Like in some cases, physically, literally, whips to the face, you know.
Coffee cups to the face.
Coffee cups to the face. I mean, he's got the beads.
Oh man, Black Quill would take the cake in terms of beating on the defense if it weren't for Francisca actually beating on the defense.
Hey, she whips the judge.
So normally they're more likable, though admittedly I hated Francisca for a long time, but eventually ended up liking her. But Nayuda is just so freaking smug and smarmy and just won't back off.
And he is just so quick to be like, death penalty.
And remember when Apollo was like, is that all there is between us? And he was like, there's nothing. Like, how crappy is that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is contrived, maybe it isn't, but still. What, I mean, if there's another game after Spirit of Justice, what's Apollo's deep and abiding background connection going to be in that one?
His actual father.
Very well, Detective Sky. Please proceed. Okay, I can do this. Let me start with an overview of this case.
Hold it! I'd like to press you on it now.
Okay, you bet. I mean, I'm on your side, but I still have to do my job. The latest victim was Perez Zalad. He had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest. That's probably not what it was.
Probably not.
What we're thinking is that he was Lady Kira.
Yeah, and then Believe killed him out of revenge. I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. Would the defense care to respond, or should I just make you guilty now? I didn't spot any inconsistencies in her testimony so far, and I don't have any evidence in my arsenal. What am I going to do now? Just press on all of her statements like I always do?
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
What is it, Maya?
I was just wondering about how much the police actually looked into Acolyte Zalad. Like BSG was talking about, with the real name, Divination Seance, and, I can do one of those too, right?
I suppose so!
I wonder if she can. Because it just might prove to be the key as to why the Divination Seance failed.
Thanks, Maya. I certainly couldn't have thought of that on my own. What are you getting at?
Well, it's just a hunch.
Wait a second. During my investigation, Rayfa told me about how the Divination Seance works. If I could figure out why it failed...
True name!
Maybe she could try it again. What was that? Okay, time to press for some more information. Okay.
Here we go, Emma. The latest victim was Perez Zalad. Oh, Perez Zalad, like you praise all the time.
Emma, you can't be surprised at this point.
I'm sorry. You're right, Mr. Wright. I did it again!
What kind of person was Acolyte Zealot?
According to the neighbors and others who knew him, he was a deeply devout youth. I, too, have heard his name mentioned as one who was a fervent practitioner.
We get it! Zealot!
I suppose you might say he was the High Priest's star disciple. Furthermore, he had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years.
2 years? Are you sure about that?
We took statements from his neighbors and his fellow monks. They all corroborate our initial findings.
What about you, Maya?
Well, when I first came here, I saw Zealot, Zulo, whatever his name is, praying under the High Priest's instruct. Of course!
I see. You did cut that off with the burp. So the results of the police investigation seem to check out.
Man, forget this! I'm never drinking carbonated drinks on a recording day again! I'm lying. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me... Oh, Kurayan is so funny. Has identified the victim's body.
Well, I suppose since her name isn't a pun, that would be far more funny for her.
Yeah, we went over this last time.
You're right. Was Mrs. Inme's positive ID the only way you could verify the identity of the victim?
Huh? Well, no. We also checked the ID card he carried and the data in his family registry. Plus, he looks like he does in the photos.
But...
Yeah, but
what?
his personal information didn't match any of the public records we cross-referenced. Maybe he wasn't even the same age.
Maybe that's why the divination seance failed.
I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Wright.
Maybe he prays a lot, killed someone, and posed them as him.
It posed them as him?
Or
the person
something.
that he killed? Didn't you insert an additional him in there?
Maybe I did. Ah, yes. Here's what I'm thinking. His address was wrong.
I don't think that would cause the divination seance to fail, but...
The victim decided to hide his identity for some reason. In other words, he was using a fake name. The royal priestess used it to...
You can't blame it on a burp or carbonation this time.
No, I just failed. The royal priestess used a deceased's face and true name to...
What is wrong with you?
No.
What? I didn't understand any of that.
Neither did I.
Why, yes, that is indeed true. If he was using a forged ID and there is no mention of him in our public records, then he was likely an illegal immigrant. They are not uncommon here in Kurain.
An illegal immigrant? Come to think of it, Rayfa mentioned something about immigrants yesterday.
But if that's the case, we have no way of knowing who he really is. We'll have to proceed without holding a divination seance this time.
I had always thought that Acolyte Zealot was Kurainese. Oh, how the High Priest must be lamenting his disciples' deception in the Twilight Realm. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Should we add this to the testimony? Yes.
Why would you not?
This is an important fact. Please add it to the testimony. It would seem to be a fact most inconvenient for the defense. But if you insist, Detective Sky, please add what you said to your testimony.
Yes, Your Majesty. Let's skip pressing on this one to finish up the others. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest.
Maya isn't that Lady Kira who's been going around capturing rebels.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, but... that verdict was already handed down in the previous trial. It is no longer a point of dispute, and I will not allow you to make it so.
But...
No ifs, ands, and most of all, no buts.
You're a butt.
The accused was posing as Lady Kira, and she killed Acolyte Zealot because she mistakenly believed him to be a rebel. That's not true, but... I'm sorry, but...
You're having far too much fun with this, Emma.
The verdict has already been read in that case. I have to assume that it's fact now.
Now what do we do? Now I know why the divination seance failed, but...
Nothing's really changed.
Yeah, which means we're in big trouble.
If he really was an illegal immigrant, it's gonna be real hard to find out his real name.
I guess our only choice is to give up on the whole divination seance thing. If only there was some way to find out the victim's real name!
So, should I say it, or do you want to?
You should say it.
So, like, I mean, obviously we still have to press on that other one.
Yeah?
But you know how there's, like, a registry nationally for face markings?
Uh-huh. Yeah? What about it?
That just might have some clue. He was an illegal immigrant, so we don't know his real name.
Isn't there some way to track down his real name? Some sort of face marking registry?
No, not if he was an illegal immigrant.
Have you actually confirmed that he was in Kurain illegally?
Well, we don't have any conclusive evidence, but there's also no evidence of him being a citizen of Kurain either. It's not like there's some list of people with religious markings or something.
Oh boy, now what do we do?
What if, just what if, there was a clue related to this in the evidence you gathered?
Maya, please allow me to handle this.
I just keep listening to BSG, though, and they make sense some of the time.
Does this mean we're dead?
Uh-oh!
That's probably our only hope at this point. If he really was an illegal immigrant, our proverbial goose is probably cooked, proverbially.
That's what I was thinking.
So, it's this.
Objection!
It isn't?
What? I think it'll be this because of the tattoo.
It just feels like we should be able to say registry, but
I feel like we should be able to say
But it-
that too.
it wasn't that.
Sarah. Take this!
First instinct was right, I suppose.
Sorry, Detective Sky. But the police missed something important in their investigation.
What are you talking about?
The victim was undeniably a Koreanese native. And this crime scene photo proves it. It does? It's a little hard to see, but look closely.
It's not really hard to see.
It's a little hard to see!
Sorry, Phoenix, okay?
You'll see clear proof that the victim was Koreanese.
When I want to fight you on something, it's not going to be on this. Where? I don't see anything that would prove that.
This proves the victim was Koreanese. Boop.
Take that!
Look at this tattoo right here. Why, that's a tattoo of a peach?
It's not a peach.
I would like you all to think about the meaning of this tattoo.
Oh, the victim really liked peaches?
Now, well, peaches are a favorite delicacy here in
Well,
Korea.
maybe it was a peach, but it's upside down.
Right.
Just like what's on the Abbots. Ah! They happen.
David has been murdered by peaches.
They happen to be a personal favorite of mine. The sweetness of their abundant nectars and the softness of their perfectly ripe flesh. They're a blessing from the Holy Mother herself. I don't like peaches. It's like eating an entire pound of sugar.
I don't think I've ever had peaches.
Nick, I've suddenly got a craving for peaches.
After the trial, Maya. Right now, we have bigger fish to fry.
Nick, I suddenly have a craving for fried fish.
Unfortunately, that is not a tattoo of a peach.
Thank you, Phoenix. It is not a peach, you say? Then what is it?
Take a closer look. Haven't you seen something like that before?
Thank you, Phoenix!
Namely, the tattoo on the High Priest's brow. Oh my!
What?
Heavens to Betsy! This mark is only borne by members of the Koreanist clergy.
You can't use things like that! So that is what you believe it to be. But are they not utterly different shapes?
No, you moron! You are looking at it upside down! Sure, they're shaped differently, but there's a reason for that. The victim had the peach-shaped tattoo inked over an existing tattoo for some reason.
Hiding identity?
However, the dark red portion is exactly the same as the mark all Koreanist clergy bear.
Hey, you're right!
Until about 20-odd something years ago, everyone did get one, didn't they? I myself bear one on my right buttock.
That is entirely too much information, Your Majesty.
Information on everyone who enters the clergy is maintained at the temple. All we have to do is look up a monk with a mark in the same spot.
I'm on it. I'll let you know if I get any hits. That will not be necessary. If you seek information on the clergy, I have it all right here.
That's convenient. Oh my, you never cease to amaze. So tell us, is there anyone who fits the bill?
There is just one, and his name is Real Nemu.
Are you serious?
I may be Koreanese, Billy, but I do not name everyone. I have nothing to do with this. My name is relatively normal. It's not my fault.
Oh my god.
He became a monk 20 years ago.
Doesn't seem like he's that old.
Well, I thought he looked a little old, but he probably did just take an identity. But, I mean, look at his face!
Oh, that's the identity that he took, a monk from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I see. Then that must be the victim's real name.
Because even though I think he looks older, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, but why would he have tried to cover up his tattoo with another one?
Yeah, there must have been some reason.
Nick, that's not important right now. The important thing is we know his real name.
You're right, I'll have to focus on it later in the trial.
Homne desu yo, Niku, homne!
What are you talking about? Your Majesty, now that we know the victim's real name, the divination seance might finally work.
A lawyer who willingly seeks a seance. This is entirely unprecedented.
I've been waiting in the wings! Come on, barbed head! You are but digging your own grave, Defense.
Sure about that, Nayuta? I mean, you didn't get a chance to look at it ahead of time.
Maybe that's why he doesn't want us to see it.
We won't know that until we try. Sure, it's risky, but it's our only hope.
Very well. Let the divination seance be held once more.
Time for that ritual again! Go forth, oh stock footage! You're kidding me. His name is real Nemu? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would a lawyer work so hard to see the divination seance be held once more?
Why are you concerned if all you're caring about is putting me on the executioner's block or whatever?
You are a fool, Barbed Head. It's like you think that by looking at the insights and the divination seance, you can find something that furthers your case. It's not like you've never done that or anything.
Twice.
And your foolishness shall yield no gratitude from me. For with the truth revealed by my insights, I shall gladly seek your demise.
Bring it on, princess.
And quit talking like that!
Because I will correctly interpret each and every one of your insights.
Huh. You will regret ever thinking you could use my sacred insights as evidence. Oh, holy stock footage!
O Holy Mother,
Oh, look!
Here's the Plume
Really?
Punisher theme. Something's heavy. Oh, pain, is it?
Zuba!
That was pretty quick.
I don't necessarily know what this means, but I know how we can be like, this is right here. We know where this is.
Yeah.
Oh my! It is just as Mr. Wright surmised. Praise a lot wasn't the victim's true name. And now at last, we have seen the victim's final moments.
But what do they mean?
But all we could see was the ground.
Just like you said.
Yeah!
You seem terribly disappointed. I take it you did not find any fodder for one of your infamous turnabouts? I, on the other hand, have discovered something. Conclusive evidence that establishes the accused's guilt.
The Plume Punisher theme from the keychain.
Oh, yeah.
You did?
That's the angle he's gonna take, because he doesn't know about that room.
Ho 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 ho! A most surprising surprise attack! Were you surprised? I was surprised.
Come on, guys, we know what's going on!
So tell us, Prosecutor Sadmati, what is this conclusive evidence you have found?
Yeah.
The Plumed Punisher theme song that the deceased heard. Please consider this item here. It was confiscated from the accused during her interrogation. Hey, that's my Plume Punisher strap that I got from Believe in Me, who also seemed to know about the secret room that I don't know about. Whoops. When you press the Magatama on the Plumed Punisher's belt...
The clock does it too.
Yeah, I know. Hence we already know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, these are my jams.
Ah!
Get with the program, Phoenix. You know where that is.
Oh no, I haven't put 2 and 2 together yet.
Haven't you recently seen something with a clock that plays the Plumed Punisher theme? It is with a suspicious, mysterious blood stain of unknown origin in a room with the floor that looks just like that? Recently? Maybe there's a frickin' connection!
No.
It seems the accused inadvertently pressed a button in the midst of her crime.
You can't be serious!
This strap is an extremely rare item, is it not, Miss Faye? You'd better not break it. I get that back, you know. There's only one of those in the whole wide world.
Maya, no!
Even though I talked extensively about that last clock, it is just as I said. Your flights of fancy have come crashing down on you. She sure seems to be enjoying this.
Yeah, I've never seen her look so thrilled before either.
It is time to accept the fact that the Divination Seance is far more than mere evidence. It is the very truth that brings the hammer of justice down upon the accused.
That is as conclusive as evidence can get. Now then, if there are no further objections...
I've got one!
Objection!
Me too!
Slow down there, your majesty. At least let me make a counter-argument.
What are those?
What's this? Do you take issue with the divination seance?
No!
Oh, I have issues with it. I just don't know what they are yet.
Oi!
But that's never stopped me before! The Divination Seance is not the absolute truth.
Well, it is!
It only becomes the truth after it's been interpreted correctly.
Okay, I can accept that. You do not know when you are beaten, do you, you foolish lawyer? Next, you're going to try and say that this takes place in a different room and... I'll stop, never mind. I'm the only one who speaks for the Mitama of the deceased. If you believe there to be errors in my insights, then let us see you prove it.
Well,
Let's get to that then. Well, the thing is, he did hear the theme.
that's true.
So we just have to figure out how to get him to say what we need. The victim was offering up his prayers. It was the night of the rite. The pattern on the plaza's ground was visible in the darkness. Then someone was there, and the theme to the Plumed Punisher filled the air. The accused held the victim down and plunged her dagger into his upper back. The blade struck true, and in that instant he departed from this world. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. Her benevolence's insights have painted a detailed picture, both vivid and true.
I didn't notice any holes there. As they stand now, those insights are really stacked against us.
Just like they always have been before.
I'll just have to go over each and every one of the deceased sensations very carefully. I want to check something. I would like very much to check something.
Oh, there we go.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what it is.
water was already red.
Yeah, this is it. Now we just have to figure out how to prove it. Heavy. It's falling down.
It's falling. Yeah.
What about using sight? I mean, I think it is heavy. It's just we have to figure out, we have to establish which one obviously proves it. We could say, well, this isn't the pattern on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, and when was he die? When did he die? It must be finished by 3 p.m. It's noon to 3 p.m.
Noon to 3 p.m.
But he died at a different time.
4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah. So it's the night of the rite and Gingil. Yeah, because we have the statement, it was the night of the rite, but the smell of the Gingil indicates that it's not the night of the rite.
Correct. Take that.
Objection!
Woo! Was it really the night of the rite?
What do you mean? It could not be otherwise. The accused slew Acolyte Zalat after killing the High Priest during the Purification Rite.
The only problem is the deceased spirit does not corroborate that.
What's this?
Take a good look at what the victim smelled. Do you see how it says gingle? Acolyte Zealot shouldn't have smelled any gingle on the night of the rite.
What do you mean?
Let me back up my statement with some evidence for you.
Please!
This should explain how the victim couldn't have smelled gingle on the night of the rite. I just like saying that, night of the rite. Bam!
Take that!
The High Priest's wife, Believe in Me, told me about the Feast of Blessings. The feast includes a number of gingle-based dishes. And they're only supposed to be served at a certain time the day before the rite.
Why, I believe you're right. I had completely forgotten about
I
that.
don't want to talk about Gingle. It makes me envious.
During the feast, the unique smell of gingle pervades the entire kingdom. The fact that the victim smelled it means he was murdered between noon and 3 p.m. the day before the purification rite.
Huh. I'm not so easily fooled. Did that autopsy report not make it clear? The estimated time of death was during the rite.
All right, I taught her about that yesterday.
Well, there just happens to be this thing about
Cold temperatures?
the way you calculate the time of death and cold temperatures. They thought he was killed out when the temperature was cold, but he was killed in a place where the temperature was warmer, so that throws the calculation off.
Forgive me your benevolence, but the estimated time of death is just that, an estimate. Depending on the circumstances, it's possible for it to change.
What's this? Is this how that magic works?
Like, if a body was kept cold, the slow rate of decay makes the death seem more recent.
Why, I believe I have heard something of the sort before. If it is as Mr. Wright claims, the estimated time of death in the autopsy report will have to be revised.
Ow! Barbed head, you blinded me with science. I hate myself.
I love that song. Poetry in motion. I mean, sorry. Wait, what am I apologizing for?
Not gonna lie, I normally curse these references, but I like that song too. Huh. No matter. The murder may have occurred in the afternoon hours the day before the rite. Nevertheless, the murder weapon with the accused prints on it is incontrovertible evidence.
Really isn't.
I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. There, you happy?
Yeah, kinda.
Boom! Right, so is it time to deal with the pattern on the plaza's ground? The time of death has been corrected, leaving my insight infallible. Nick!
A change in the time of death is bound to cause some sort of an inconsistency. If I had something that showed what it was like on that day, it could really help.
He just said use the newspaper to contradict. Go to the newspaper.
I
And
will.
for that matter, the time of death. Okay, so it takes the time of death and just changes it to between 12 and 3. I was wondering what they were going to say. Okay,
Now, here's the thing about the weather. The weather!
right.
Thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum to the Plaza of Devotion.
Has melted. Until yesterday, has melted. Well, hold on. No, that's May 9th, right? Okay?
Yeah!
Now, go back to Zealot's report.
May 8th!
Right.
So it's gotta be that.
So it's outside is the part that's wrong. Because again, he's inside.
The pattern on the plaza's ground was visible, so we present the weather report here.
But we don't present evidence.
Well-
This is a divination seance.
Right. We would select the ground, right? Isn't that the strange thing?
Play the divination seance. I mean, I just stare at that and it's like, why can't we address the elephant in the room?
I just feel like that has to be it.
Yeah, it's got to be the ground then. because I mean it is.
And then we'll use the newspaper
Yeah,
to prove it.
it's like he can't have seen this based on the newspaper because
Yeah.
of the snow, because it just means that the place has to be different.
Objection!
The change in the date and time of the crime has caused a new inconsistency to surface.
Ah! What's this?
I'm not gonna lie, that is really cute. Like adorable.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you're making that irritating face again! Cease that at once! You look so smug!
Sorry, but this is the face I was born with.
But that's not the expression you were born with, barbed head!
Now let's focus on what is important. What the victim saw in his final moments.
Do you have bats in the belfry, barbed head?
Oh
Oh God, what's that? There's nothing to see except this slab falling and crushing a man. The ground at the plaza was all that entered the victim's eyes.
And we'll use this to segue into the
Yeah.
tablet thing. And that's what I find so strange. On the day before the Wright, it should have been impossible to see that pattern on the ground.
Impossible, you say? Do explain.
This piece of evidence shows why the plaza's ground was not visible that day.
Bang!
Take that!
This newspaper has an article that is tiny in size but huge in importance.
I'ma tell you what, Phoenix has gotten so much use out of the May 9th newspaper, it's ridiculous. I used to read the newspaper every day, and I still read the local newspaper once a week. But I'll tell you what, it has never been remotely close to this useful.
It says that the ground was covered with thick white ice the day before the Wright.
What? But there's no the insight.
The victim did not see so much as an ice cube on the ground.
I should hope not. It doesn't rain ice cubes.
Exactly what David said. And so we must ask, what was the victim looking at in his final moments?
If you have something to say, then say it.
The last thing the victim saw was not the ground at the Plaza of Devotion. This can only mean that he was killed elsewhere!
Like, shouldn't... Wah! Wah!
Whoa!
Wah! Oh, it's fun to do that.
What?
Then where do you propose the victim was actually killed?
Does it make Rayfa look bad to want to show how the Divination Seance is useful?
No!
She doesn't need to be hostile about this. It only, in fact, strengthens her position and makes her look better as, you know, the royal princess and heir to the throne.
If anything, she should take this as a learning experience to look at these things more carefully.
And then she can be like, and this is why, with my experience, we need to reform the justice system.
yeah, she can
Something
actually
like
help
that.
people.
I mean, I realize it's way more complicated than that, and this is, in fact, going to be the arc of the game, setting her up against her dad as a villain. But,
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes, tell us where, or tell me what to do in the future about how I'm going to be confronting my father, and I don't even know anymore. Your argument is worthless. Your armpits smell funny.
About that. I hadn't gotten to that part yet.
That was the first part we got to!
Any ideas, Maya? I'm dumb.
Let me think. Weren't you in a secret passage or something? Somewhere green and shaggy, right? Don't you have a photo of that in your evidence or
Right,
something?
but where could that be?
Oh my God! Does nobody understand the concept of moss on a rock? I mean, geez, I'm a video game nerd and I've seen moss on rocks. They say you're not supposed to leave the house if you're all a nerdy person. But oh no, I see plenty of moss on plenty of rocks. I'll stop. It's
Okay.
fine. What is it, barbed head? Giving up already?
Not at all! Now, where have I seen something green and shaggy?
Ah, in the next episode! Or maybe it was the last one.
Objection!
You're